Good evening, Pico Rivera. Thank you for coming to today's meeting, April 11th, 6:02 p.m. And I'd like to start off with our roll call. Madam City Clerk, Cynthia Ayala.
Councilmember Director Dr. Sanchez.
Here.
Councilmember Director Garcia.
Here.
Councilmember Director Camacho.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Vice Chair Lara.
Here.
Mayor Chairman Lutz.
Here.
All present.
Great, thank you for that. Now, the invocation will be provided by Councilmember Camacho and our flag salute by Mayor Pro Tem Andrew Lara.
Please bow your heads. We gather together here today with intent on doing good work. We seek to represent fairly and well those who have given us the task. May our efforts be blessed with insight, guided by understanding and wisdom. We seek to serve with respect for all. May our personal faith give us strength to act honestly and well in all matters before us. Amen.
Everyone, can you please face the flag, place your right hand over your heart, and repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Mr. City Manager, are there any changes to the agenda?
None at this time. Oh, I'm sorry, Mayor. We are adding a certificate of recognition for our utility box art program winners.
Great. All right, so we're going to have two items on special presentations, right? Okay, and now moving on to the next item, I do want to acknowledge our Planning Commissioner in attendance, Yurisma Rocha. Thank you for attending today's meeting. Yeah. And now let's move on to our special presentations. We have a proclamation that we're going to be given in regards to Donate Life Month. And in the presentation that we're having today, it's provided by Darlene Pasillas, and she is from One Legacy, and she is the ambassador. And Darlene, can we have you come up to the lectern, please? Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Lutz. Esteemed City Council and City of Pico Rivera, thank you for your support and recognition of Donate Life Month. My name is Darlene Pasillas. I am a donor daughter. My mother was Irma Saldate, a pastor's wife, mother of four, and life of the party. She enjoyed pampering herself, giving to others, and a good estate sale, as well as a themed birthday party. Unfortunately, in 2012 Memorial Day weekend, she suffered a brain aneurysm and was placed on a ventilator. Tests were conducted by two independent doctors to determine the likelihood of her recovery, and sadly, we were informed there was no brain activity and she would be in a vegetative state. Processing this devastating news, we knew that's not what my mom wanted, but we were approached gently by One Legacy, and they informed us that my mother had registered as an organ donor at her local DMV. This came as a surprise to us, as we had not been aware that she had registered, but she always loved to give away our personal belongings she was tired of seeing around the house, so we knew that we had some comfort in knowing she was still giving, even in her passing. At this time, we had known a brother and sister who were close family friends of ours in need of kidneys and had been on dialysis for a couple of years. We asked if we can designate my mother's organs to see if they would be a match, and surprisingly, both siblings matched, and she was able to donate both of her kidneys to each sibling. She also extended the life of a gentleman in his 50s by donating her liver, and had donated her corneas and tissue and saved up to 50 other individuals' lives. I am honored today to represent One Legacy's mission, and honored and proud daughter to share my mom's story in knowing that organ, eye, and tissue donation does make a difference. We here can all make that difference as well. I encourage you to visit onelegacy.org for more information or to register as a donor. Thank you so much for allowing me to share my story and the importance of organ, eye, and tissue donation. Thank you.
Thank you, Darlene. We appreciate that. And being that One Legacy Foundation, you as the ambassador, we'd like to provide you with this proclamation. And if you can make your way up here, I'll go ahead and read the proclamation of Donate Life, California, April month. And whereas organ, tissue, and marrow and blood donation are life-giving acts recognized worldwide as expressions of compassion to those in need, and whereas more than 100,000 individuals nationwide and more than 20,000 in California are currently on the National Organ Transplant waiting list, a single individual's donation of heart, lungs, liver, kidneys, pancreas, and small intestine can save up to 8 lives. And being registered as a donor doesn't impact the quality of life-saving medical care as a person receives in an emergency. And with over 18 million Californians having signed up with the state-authorized Donate a Life California Registry to ensure their wishes to be organ, eye, and tissue donors are honored, the City of Pico Rivera residents are encouraged to save a life through organ donation by registering through the Donate Life California Registry. Darlene, we'd like to provide you with this proclamation.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. It is. But the call that you guys make is what makes a difference, so we do appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you.
Mayor.
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem?
I've had the privilege of working as a critical care nurse for a number of years, and I want to say I've taken care of a few One Legacy patients. It's a privilege and it's an honor to care for those patients because those patients are definitely giving a chance of life for other people, strangers that they don't know. My nephew died. He was 24, and he died in a tragic accident, and he was a One Legacy donor. But I want to highlight the very difficult decision and conversations that the families have to have and make, and the debate and the discussion, because it's not an easy discussion. But it makes it easier, and this is my takeaway point, it makes it easier if everyone now who's living signs up and becomes a donor now. So that, hopefully you're never in that position, but if you're ever in that position, you've made that choice easier for your family. Thank you.
All right, moving on to our next item. We're going to be providing the certificates of recognition for the Utility Box Art Program winners. So if you all recognize we have our utility box out in the neighborhood on the sidewalks, and they could be a little bit bland, right?
Not
Sorry, I remember Mayor Pro Tem mentioned the idea, why don't we do art on those boxes? And so Director Ugar, can you lead on this presentation?
Absolutely. Good evening, Mayor and City Council. I thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight. And we have a lot of exciting things occurring within our department, and we get to showcase you one of our newest programs tonight. But before I do that, I wanted to introduce the staff members who made this happen. I like to give our part-timers an opportunity to do things so that they can challenge themselves and hopefully become full-time one day. And Lisa Munoz, if you would mind standing, please, is our Recreation Leader 4, and she has been leading this project from start to finish. I'm very proud of you. Thank you for that. Letty Reyes, our coordinator, couldn't be here tonight, but she helped as well. Marco Monterosa from our marketing department, Robert Moreno, did a lot of the work, and Jonathan Barone as well. This took a lot of work last Christmas. We went out tracking, taking pictures, GPS on all the utility boxes, and we couldn't have done it without Public Works, Mikey, Jose, and Francisco, as well as our GIS team and the former director, Mr. Rodrigue, when he was here, was helping us with this as well. Tonight, I'm so excited about introducing. We have 3 of our 4 winners tonight, and just wanted to let you know that we did this in collaboration with Javier Hernandez, our Director of Innovation and Communication, because we wanted to be part of Connected with PR 2035, and our hope was to start with Whittier Boulevard and, kind of do things in phases. And so tonight, I'm going to show you our winners. This is Cynthia Sandoval Hernandez, and she had several. This was a history depicting. Her story was fantastic, and she was explaining how when she came here from Mexico, this is one of the places that she used to go to when she was a child, and this is like one of her dreams of her childhood, and I thought that was beautiful. Well, our Parks and Rec Commission voted, and these were their top picks. Cynthia Sandoval Hernandez as well. This one, we're going to be putting it right in front of the library on Mines. So cute. Jeanette Vasquez couldn't be with us tonight, but this is a history of how she feels of what it used to look like here in Pico Rivera, and there's a lot of sunscapes and the orange groves, if you can see them in the top right. Ashley Ovalle, this is her depiction. She is here in the front as well, and she is part of our teen club. And so she's got her support from the teen club behind us here, led by Rosa Aguilar. And Rosa does a really great job trying to incorporate the teens to get them involved in this, and I'm really thankful for you, Rosa. Thank you for your leadership. Mike Castro. Mike Castro is also one of our part-timers who works at Rio Hondo Park, and he's a wonderful artist. He probably turned in 20. We had to, tell him we could only choose a few. But he's already working on phase 2, so this is a beautiful depiction of the orange groves. Another one of Mike Castro's as well. And so these are our winners. We would like to have you all come up, please, if you don't mind. Cynthia, Mike, and Ashley.
I think we might have another youth out there trying to come in. Maybe she's one of the artists.
Okay, let me.
Welcome them in. I don't know if it's locked or they're just not able to come in.
Well, that would be perfect timing, too.
Yes.
Are you Jeanette? Okay.
Congratulations, congratulations. Congratulations. All right, let's get you your certificates. Okay.
Lisa, I think you should get up there. Yes.
Okay. Director? Yeah. All done with the presentation?
Yes, I just wanted to let you know we will be having a launch party when we wrap these, and so we'll do like an unveiling, and so at that time you'll get a plaque with your print as well. So that will be happening hopefully before June.
Very good, very
Thank you.
good.
Thank you all.
So a big round of applause for Cynthia, Mike, and Ashley for their wonderful art. Oh, and we can't forget Jeanette Vasquez as well. She couldn't be here today, but we do want to acknowledge she was one of the winners. Come on, you're a winner. Ven pa' acá.
Thank you.
Congratulations, guys. Congratulations. All right, moving on now to public comments. And as you are all aware, public comments, you have a 3-minute time limit. And let's start off with Christopher Luna Jr. Christopher, if you can come up to the lectern. And Mr. Luna, you have your timer there to your right on the screen, and you may begin.
Well, thank you, Council, for the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Christopher Luna Jr. I'm a resident of this beautiful city of Pico Rivera, going on 33 years now. My parents are in the back, going on 60 years. The reason I'm here with my brothers from the Carpenters is to raise awareness about tax fraud. Every year during the month of April is known as Tax Fraud Awareness Month, and the days of action are April 10th through 18th. So this is just a friendly visit tonight. I'd like to give a little quick definition on tax fraud. When people think about it, they think it's just about cheating on your taxes, but it's much more than that. Tax fraud is wage theft, it's workers' compensation fraud, and it's labor trafficking. And it takes away billions of dollars from our communities in tax revenue that could go towards schools, sheltering homeless, repairing roads, and other public programs. So, I've seen this city come a long way. We have these lovely new businesses in town, and we hope they stay and they thrive. It's a little disheartening. I live close to the Walmart, and when they do renovations, we see tri-state contractors, coming from out of state, and who knows if they're playing by the rules. And it makes it for entities that do play by the rules hard when it comes to bidding for jobs and things like that. So, we just here to raise awareness on that, and just hope we have your support for honest contractors and fair competition, and holding any corrupt contractors accountable for their actions. If you'd like more information on this, you can visit @StopTaxFraud on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube, or go to stoptaxfraud.net for news and reports on construction industry tax fraud. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Luna. Next, we have Emmett Cromwell. Hold the applause, please. No applause. Thank you. Emmett Cromwell, please come up to the lectern. And, sir, you have 3 minutes. You may start now.
Thank you, Councilman. Just a pleasure to be here today. I'm with the Southwest Regional Council of Carpenters and Joiners of America. It's a pleasure to be here today with my brothers and sisters. I'd like to bring the Tax Awareness 2 month. And basically, it's estimated that construction tax fraud is responsible for cheating communities out of $8.4 billion in tax revenue each year. These tax dollars could be going to safer schools. We need some help in the schools to be safer, fix up potholes, help the veterans, help the shelter the homeless, and help them to get back into the workforce. Tax fraud is happening in the construction industry. There is a lot of contractors out there cheating the system, known as labor brokers, labeling their workers as independent contractors, 1099 them, paying them cash money under the table, misclassifying the workers. These contractors commit tax fraud and abuse the vulnerable workers. The law-abiding contractors cannot compete. This is very bad business practice. It's just like human trafficking, forcing victims to live in the underground economy, killing the American dream without proof of paying taxes or showing income, and cannot rent an apartment or buy a house or a car. Tax fraud destroys the workers' lives, defrauding the community out of the much-needed tax revenues that fund the department, schools, libraries, health services, and road maintenance. It is important more than ever to hold these criminal contractors accountable for the criminal act that they're stealing from our residents in Pico Rivera. Brother Mayor, I have over 100 members that works in this area and that's searching for a good job, and I just like to say just to bring the awareness to tax fraud. Hope you take account of that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cromwell. Next, we have Kevin Velasquez. Mr. Velasquez, you can kindly come up to the lectern.
Good evening, Council. My name is Kevin Velasquez. As you may already know, the reason why we're here today, I'm an apprentice for the Southwest Mountain States Regional Council of Carpenters. I joined the Carpenters June 26th of 2021, and I'm never going to forget that day because that's the day that my life changed drastically. And since we're not here to talk about the great benefits of the union, I will say something that I've experienced out on the field that relates to tax fraud. And what normally happens is, I've met hundreds of coworkers that have told me the similar story, and they work 20, 25 years plus working non-union and, getting that minimum wage, or maybe even $1 or $2 more than the minimum wage. And that's 25 years of their work, 25 years of wages that they weren't received for that hard work that went out there and sweat, probably bled, broke a bone or two. And to compare to myself, I've only been a carpenter for maybe a year and a half, 2 years, and I've already received 5 raises. Every 3 months or so, I go to school, I get my upgrade, and it's on the field training. I learn every single day. There's not a minute or second that I do not learn. That being said, it makes me stronger and better. And to compare that 25 years that coworkers that are now union were basically robbed of their money. And to basically give you a more relative example of tax fraud and how it's really easily confused to just a cheat or a number not being added up. It's more than that, and it actually affects people's lives. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Velasquez. Next, we have John N. Soto. Mr. Soto, if you kindly come up to the lectern.
I was a union man for 25 years, so I know what you guys are talking about. Greetings, Mayor and City Council members. Last meeting I was here and I misspoke. My wife and I were actually in Guam in 1979, not 1971. It's been about a month since I last heard anything meaningful from the city regarding the loud music coming from the golf course. At that time, I was told by the Parks and Recreation Department would not cancel any loud events at the golf course. In essence, the department will not enforce the contract or city ordinance. Well, true to their promise, our neighbor has had to endure several loud events. 1 or 2 are not as loud as the others, but still intrusive. On Saturday, April 1st, about 9:30 p.m., loud music was coming from the golf course. I was able to get a hold of Rudy Valle, and he assumed that the event was indoors and with sliders closed. I told him that the sliders were open. He said he would call the golf course and see what he could do about it. Not much was done. As a matter of fact, people started to pour into the patio area and started making extremely loud noises. Look, we all know the golf course is in bad shape financially. Some say it is the banquet events that keep it afloat. I would disagree with that. It is the city services that help keep it afloat. Just a couple of weeks ago, we saw city trucks restriping the parking lot, including painting red curbs. Often we see city trucks at the golf course in some capacity or another. The golf course is a gem of a golf course. Why it does not turn a profit from the golfers and the services they use are surprising. Maybe they should try a different marketing strategy. But the golf course should not try to make a profit on the backs and ears of our neighborhood by hosting these loud, intrusive events. Also, the city should not allow it. That brings up another point. We do not want the golf course turned into a bar. At times, some of the golfers don't stay for beverages or food after a round of golf. This is because of the loud bar environment that is happening at the golf course. We are still waiting for a resolution letter from you stating that the city will enforce the contract and the municipal code. Thank you. Okay. This issue is so simple. The golf course is in clear violation of the contract and the municipal code. Write a letter telling them that they must cease immediately then write us a letter saying the issue is resolved. It is that simple. I really never thought it would raise to this level of having to fix this problem. It should have been fixed 2 months ago in my first email stating that, and that it should have just been at the level it was supposed to. What it says in the contract is Parks and Recreation is responsible. Simple as that. Should have never put you in jeopardy, I don't know.
Thank you, Mr. Soto. Thank you for your commentary. Mr. Sanchez, Jose Sanchez, please come up to the lectern. You have 3 minutes.
Mayor Lutz, council members, I'm here on item 9, which is basically what's defined here as completion of the CIP 50041, which is not the CIP 50041, which this council signed back in June of 21. It was changed, modified, red line, change orders probably sent out. I submitted a public record request for all of that. I never received anything. I was told that none existed, and yet the work was done, not to what was recommended by the consultant back in February 21, and then approved by this council in June 21. In any case, it looks good. The asphalt looks nice. It's a beautiful job that was done, but I'm not sure what complete really means. The concrete underlay is weak. Every time you get an overloaded vehicle, commercial vehicle, the vibration is there. Rattles sometimes do, or the windows sometimes do rattle. And I have made the complaint about this overweight vehicles passing through the night, taking the short route to the 60 freeway to head off to the Inland Empire. The city needs to fix that because it's going to miss the concrete or ruin it even faster than it probably will just by the condition that it was left in. If you drive on the northbound lanes, it's nice if you have a commercial, just a regular vehicle, but drive on the southbound lanes, and if you didn't notice this, I don't know if you guys drive it at all, but it gets flooded, which means that the whole asphalt is uneven. If you drive on lane number 1, you can see the undulations of the road. It wasn't compacted properly. If you get to about 4121 southbound Rosemead, just across from the empty lots, if you get a guy on the motorcycle and it hits right close to the medium, it's going to flip him over. There's a speed bump there. So I really don't know what this completion really means. Okay, and like I said, this is not a job that was not looked at. I was keeping an eye on the northbound lanes, and I was following the contractor doing the work. And at least for the asphalt, it looks nice and even. On the southbound lane, I didn't follow it. You had inspector or somebody working on it, and I know that at least the deputy director was directing that work. And I don't know what he told him, I don't know what he approved, but it was not done properly. That's on this particular item 9. What I had last week on item 11 is a sound barrier that's going to be put up on Beverly, Rhode Island. Now, I wasn't aware of this. There was cancellation of the contract, but all the stuff that we got a broken, a cinder block fence that is all cracked up and broken. We have all of the traffic that now is coming up on Rosemead because Parham was redesigned to a single lane. So now we got all that traffic going on, plus the heavy freight vehicles. We have nothing but noise. And yet, this one owner on Lindell, he gets a sound barrier. He gets a big lot on the cheap. I think it was about $1 a square foot, and just the city gave it to him for that amount of money. And now he's getting a big sound wall. That's kind of like either retaliation or discrimination or favoritism. I don't know which one it is, but it needs to be looked at. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sanchez. Thank you all for your public comments. And now moving on to tonight's agenda, we have consent calendar items 1 through 10 and successor agency items 11 through 12. Do we have any items to pull from the council? Okay, as we can see, we have no items.
Mr. Mayor, I need
Yes.
to recuse myself on item 3.
Okay, very good.
And Mayor, we're pulling, staff is pulling item 8 for a quick discussion. We have a slight presentation that we want to give to council.
Very good. So,
So move that's recommended.
do we have a second?
Second.
So we have items 1 through 10 minus 8. And can we have, Madam City Clerk, roll call, please?
Mayor, that was items 1 through 12 under the consent.
That's correct. 1 through 12 minus 8 pulled for discussion.
Sounds good.
And 3.
And 3.
And 3.
Councilmember Director Dr. Sanchez.
Aye.
Councilmember Director Garcia.
For item 3, I recuse myself.
For the record, on the other items,
Oh, I support him, yes.
Councilmember Director Camacho,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Chairman Lara,
Yes.
Mayor Chairman Lutz.
Yes. And now moving on to item number 3 for roll call.
Councilmember Dr. Sanchez,
Aye.
Councilmember Garcia,
Recuse.
Councilmember Camacho,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Lara,
Yes.
Mayor Lutz.
Yes. And now moving on to item number 8. Mr. City Manager?
Yes, Mayor, City Council, I have Director Pam Ugart to give a quick presentation on the Smith Park Pool.
Great, Honorable Mayor and Council. I also wanted to thank you for having me tonight to discuss this. I also wanted to let you know we have on Zoom my project manager, Terry Rodriguez. So happy to know he's still with us. He is our engineer on this project. And we have Stephanie Fujimura, who is the partner for Dahlen Group, just in case you have questions that I'm not able to answer. So this is our current pool and our current condition. And everybody knows the problems that we have with the pool, major problems. We've been doing, I would say, community outreach for about a good 6 years. So we have had a lot of input on what the residents would like to see in their pool, and we've compared the input that we've received from community outreach against what is next to us on the Pioneer High School pool and what is going to be coming with the El Rancho High School pool. So the design that we're going to be showing you that was chosen by our ad hoc committee, which is our council member Camacho and our Mayor Pro Tem Lara. We appreciate your time in helping to create this that we're bringing to you tonight. So we've got a problem with the community center. We have a problem with the aquatic aspect. The doors are always really quite funky. If you go over to the community center, the entrance is really wonky and it's very dark. Oops, let me go back. So we've done a whole lot to change that, and what you're going to be seeing tonight is not only a pool renovation, but it's the community center upgrades as well. So this is the aerial of the proposed project. Instead of having one pool, we've decided to break it up into 2 pools, so we'll still have a competition pool, and then we will have a pool that is dedicated to our seniors, to therapeutic, to the children, and that will really help us with our swim lessons, because that is one of the highest needs that we have in our department, is a request for swim lessons. This is another site looking up. One of the favorite parts of this, and I would have to say the ad hoc committee would like to chip in and chime in, is the shade structures and the deck that is going to be happening. A lot of the parents over the last 20 or 30 years have said, it's so hot out there. There's nowhere for us to sit when they're watching their children have their swim lessons. So we have plenty of room for parents to sit. We have plenty of places for the other little folks to play. So if we're having swim lessons, there will also be some swim features in there and some play equipment in there, so a family can, exercise. And if you have multiple children, there's going to be plenty for your children to do. If you look at this area, you will see that there are 2 entrances. So the aquatic entrance will now have its own entrance, as well as the community area will have its own entrance. It will be defined, and it will be, let me see if I can get a close-up. There it is. So if you look to the right, people will now be able to come in through that area to go to the aquatic facility, and they will now come into the community center, and they can enjoy their yoga classes or their contract classes or their senior clubs once we redo that area. There will also be a new events terrace, if you can see, going south on the floor plan. So the events room will now open up into the park, and it would be a spectacular area for people to have, events, or if we wanted to discuss rentals down the road, it would be a really great place to have weddings, quinceañeras, and things like that. This is a proposed change. This is the existing front, and this is the proposed front, and it's quite stunning. This is the new community area. You can see how it's brightened up. It's all windows. It's lightened. We've, I don't know if Stephanie wants to talk when we get to the end of what they're doing with that beam, because it's a really interesting concept. So Stephanie, if you wouldn't mind coming back to this when I get through the slide deck, that would be great. This is that area that you can see coming from the walkway, and this is the current area on the top where there's really nothing. It's all dark and it's all walls. So we've basically have taken off that wall and put all windows, if you can see, and there'll be a nice, really beautiful patio. I think that everybody will enjoy, especially the seniors who have club meetings there. This is the parking lot view. This is the new aquatics entry. And this was, it's going to be really defined. So you've got families who will go to the pool, you've got families who go to the community center. It's going to be really nice. And it's also going to help us with staffing, because if we don't have anything going on in one area, we can just close that up and open up the other area. This is the pool deck. So this is what I was sharing with you, that we will have play structures in there. We will have things for the family. There'll be little bleacher areas there for families to sit. It will be a walk-in waiting areas for the little ones and the toddlers. So everyone is really excited about this. This is the other angle of the rec pool. This is the competition pool rendering. This is the aerial, and this is just so stunning. I have it on my vision board, so I look at it every morning when I get to the office. And we wouldn't be here without all of the support, of course, with Senator Archuleta and our former Assemblywoman Cristina Garcia and our new Assemblywoman Lisa Calderon, and we just received $10 million from Supervisor Hahn. So we have put this really wonderful package together, and I don't know if you have any questions, but we have Mr. Rodrigo on the line, and we have Ms. Fujimura on the line as well, if you have any design questions.
Sure. I'd love to have former Director Rodrigue give some commentary as well.
Sure. Terry, are you there? Hold on, Terry, we can't hear you. Hold on one second, Terry. Let's see if Gabe can get this going. Hold on, Terry. I can hear you only because I know your voice. Thank you, Gabe. Is Paul around by chance?
Can we skip him for now? And
Can we move on to Stephanie?
Sure, Stephanie, could you give it a shot? It's the same. One second, Stephanie, sorry, we're having trouble with the connection. Terry, will you try again?
Well, I would say, while we're waiting for the audio to come around, if it does, I'd
Yes.
love to have our Mayor Pro Tem and Councilmember Camacho give a few words, since they are part of the ad hoc.
That would be great.
Well, when in 2020 or 2021, 2020, the El Rancho Unified School District.
Testing.
Oh. Yay. You want me to continue?
Terry?
Sorry, I don't want to interrupt, but we just tested the volume, so I'll
I'll just wait till the appropriate time.
So briefly, when I first got on the dais, the El Rancho Unified School District had reached out to us. They wanted to use our city swimming pool for their practices, for polo, water polo. And I was told that it's non-functioning. I requested a walkthrough with the city manager and the team, and we walked through, and they showed me the boiler rooms and everything. And we realized we had a problem, right? And then little by little, money started to come in, federal ARPA funds that we squirreled away, and we thought we had enough for the swimming pool. And then we lost out on Prop 68 funds, and we put together a plan in the Ad Hoc Infrastructure Committee, and we went out for more money, and then more money came in. So I think we had 18 million, and then we held a meeting a few months ago, and we were given the options of what we could build. And there was a $21 million option, a $28 million option, and a $32 million option. So we only had about 18, so we directed staff to turn the budget upside down to find us $10 million. And 2 days later, we met, and sure enough, they said, we found $10 million, but it's going to come at a cost because we're moving money from here and here, and you can have that $28 million because we believe the community deserved it, but it's going to come at a cost. And then Councilmember Camacho said, I'm going to go talk to Supervisor Hahn. Because you had already talked to her. You already put out feelers. And then we had winter break over 2022. And then he called me and he said she committed to $10 million. And, that was all you. And this community owes you a debt of gratitude for your hard work and your resilience on staying on top of that. And then my next question was, can we get the $32 million? and you said that was your question also. So there's so money out there to be had, but I think long story short, it's taken a lot of work by city staff, by council altogether collectively, showing a united front, so that when monetary asks go before our elected officials, they go, Pico Rivera, they're moving forward. They're moving forward. And there's a lot of jealousy out of cities, right? We had this discussion. There's a lot of jealousy. How did you guys get that money? Well, because we had shovel-ready projects, and we're asking, and we're staying on top of it. So everyone did their part.
Yeah, well, pretty much adding to that, I do remember the supervisor saying, just don't tell anyone because my other cities are going to get mad. That's their problem. You got to work it to get it. And but you know what? I think, as was said, our community deserves the best. And I know we started, recognized we had the challenges, the problems, having my daughters go through the programs as well, got to see the need there and on a personal level. But all in all, from looking at just rebuilding the pool to the community center, which we kind of put to the side, thinking that, we're just focused on the pool, recognizing that they have to go hand in hand. And I think we developed a design that is going to be well taken for many generations to come as we build this. But I guess the biggest thing here is that, if you work together in unison with a common goal, you can go after the funds. And when you have the relationships, as we all do with our legislators and the county folks, if you stick to the plan, if you keep pushing forward and bring a shovel-ready project. So many people come up to and ask for money with ideas. You don't get ideas funded, you get projects funded. And so, but this is a good example of us knowing that we work together, we're not going to take no for an answer. And at the end of the day, even though we're still short a few $1 million, we're going to have a legacy project that I think is well put together by our staff, by our consultants, and just all the work that was done in the committee amongst the support of all of us. And I want to thank also that one meeting that I did have with Janice, council member Dr. Sanchez was with me at that meeting. So, she definitely, we had that talk and everything. So again, this is a good teamwork effort.
Yes. And I have a surprise for you. I'm going to have Terry and Stephanie talk about it because there was the Taj Mahal one that we didn't think we could afford. And Stephanie and her designers figured out how to give us we call it option 2 enhanced. But what you saw today is what, I'll let her explain it because her designer, Mario, explained that we got a better design than the Taj Mahal that we thought we wanted. But I think with Terry, I think the mayor asked to speak to Terry first.
Well, thank you, Pam, and thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is just such an exciting project, and I think back to when I first started working with the city and first started evaluating the condition of the pool. And, you know, we had some studies done and some soils analysis and some equipment evaluation. And I have to admit, it was a bit depressing. Every time we looked at something, it was just a bigger and bigger hole to dig out of. And when we did not get Prop 68, I was continued to be very discouraged about how we were ever going to accomplish this. And then to see this come to the point where it is now, for me, as an engineer, I just, you know, my life's work is to work on good projects for communities. And this is such an excellent project for the community. And the team that Pam and the city has assembled on the design side, say nothing of the city council, the ad hoc committee, and the city manager's office assembling such an incredible fundraising team. I'm just so excited to be a part of it. And we're going to deliver something that I think the city will not only be proud of, but will be sustainable, which is important.
Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez. Stephanie?
Good evening. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. So I think sustainable is a great word to leap off of that Terry mentioned. We're trying to create a facility that's not going to be that is not only going to be that legacy facility for you guys, but something that you guys can afford to run and something that gives you the biggest return on investment. So maximizing things like lessons that are the biggest return on investment of any aquatic endeavor that's done in a public pool, to creating spaces that can be broken up, as Pam mentioned, so that you can actually rent out the facility twice at the same time and allow for 2 different activities and therefore 2 different revenue generation streams is very important. So we are definitely designing for that long-term sustainability for you. We know that, as Pam mentioned, you have quite a few pools coming up in your neighborhood, but they're all focused on schools, high school sports, high school competition. This is going to be your one facility that's really focused on your community and community lessons, education, and creating a destination for your families and everyone in the family. So Pam and her team have worked really hard to ensure that we are programming and creating water space that is not just dedicated to the kids or dedicated to the seniors or dedicated to swim teams and master swim classes, but something for everyone while maintaining what you have in your current pool. So the diving aspects of it, the ability for your fire rescue to train there, and the ability for your recreational teams to keep practicing there. So that has been a push on our end. And that's why what you see in front of you is very much geared towards that community-centric nature. Pam was also pointing out the entries. I think that's one of the things that probably when we first looked at the facility was the most confusing and probably saddest part of the facility is you really couldn't tell where the aquatics entry was. You had this great pool with this great history, but you didn't know how to access it. You couldn't see it. It wasn't prominent. So this design really brings that forward. It not only allows you to have a separate entry for your community center and your aquatic center, which also helps staff and operations, but it really becomes that, that gem in the park, that inviting piece to pull you in. So the community center entry, Pam, you had pulled up on slide 9 or 10 there, if you guys go back, and that really is that beacon to invite folks into the community center to make it a very welcome place for everyone. And one of the things that Pam had mentioned as well is that when we started, I think the end of last year, we had talked to the ad hoc committee and we had kind of settled on 3 options that we put out to our cost estimator. When we got the costs back, we realized, okay, we were really dedicated to option 2, but what else could we do? We didn't want to take and think of, taking option 3 and stripping it back, but how could we rearrange option 2 to make it more efficient, to make better use of our money? So what you're seeing in the presentation before you now really is that amalgam of all the great things of option 3 that Pam and her team really wanted, that entry lobby space, the dedicated lifeguard area and enhanced entry, while being able to bring in, reel back some of the things, and such as moving restrooms into the main building and maximizing our existing shell to save some money elsewhere. So we were really happy that the whole thing came together very well for Pam and her team. And operationally, she feels like this is probably the best solution for her team operations as well.
It's the best pool ever. Yes. Anyway, thank you. Thank you, Terry, and thank you, Stephanie. I don't know if you have any more questions.
Yes.
Mayor, if I may,
Yes.
Pam, you had mentioned the rentals for weddings and parties and things of that nature. What's the capacity?
Oh, I don't know that. Stephanie, do you know the capacity in the community room?
Yep, you're going to be about 150 to 180 people seated in 10-person rounds. Currently, in that events room, you also have a stage. And then with
You also have the doors.
events terrace that we're talking about, and you can open up, it allows even more seating.
Right.
And if I may, Mr. Mayor, just one more other comment. I just want to acknowledge staff as the new member here on the dais. What an amazing job. And staff gets so creative through our city manager and the entire team. But as the mayor pro tem pointed out, if he hadn't had the foresight to look into that pool, and he couldn't have chose a better person on that ad hoc than Gustavo Camacho, because Gustavo's just being modest right now. When you look at the nurturing, the relationship, and the building, all the behind-the-scenes work that goes in with all the elected officials to secure this type of money, it's just unheard of. And as the team came together to really close this and cement this deal. Now, I support this, but I know there's as we look at dollars, whether they're construction costs or things of that nature, when we take something from here and move it over here, we're leaving something unattended. And we don't know if we're going to recoup those dollars. So I want to challenge myself, and I want to continue to challenge my colleagues here on the dais and the amazing grant writing team that we do have here to continue to pursue outside funding and leverage those dollars, whatever dollars that we do pull from, so that we can continue to address more pressing needs that our residents have asked us to do, such as new roads, filling potholes, public safety, and parks. Let me reiterate, I support this, and what an awesome project this is going to be for our residents here in Pico Rivera. Thank you, a job well done.
Councilmember?
When again is the anticipated completion date?
Oh, don't.
3 years?
Don't get the
2
message.
years?
We're looking at 2025.
I know we just got the money.
I know, like, don't want to shrink now.
I just want to add that let's open the pool in 2035.
Yes, that's our goal, yes.
Well, I have to say the collaboration is just amazing.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be part of this team, really is.
And I think this is a perfect example. Is if you can dream it, it can happen.
That's right.
And Pico Rivera, its staff, its council, and its community members all pulled together. Don't pardon the pun. And the dream is coming true. So Stephanie, Terry, again, thank you for your presentation, and Director Ugar, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
Appreciate that. And can we get a motion to approve?
I move.
Second. And roll call?
Council members, Dr. Sanchez,
Aye.
Councilmember Garcia,
Yes.
Councilmember Camacho,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Lara,
Yes.
Mayor Lutz.
Yes.
5-0 passes.
Now moving on to the city manager's staff reports. Mr. City Manager?
Just a couple items I'd like to bring up presentation. We recently had the Easter extravaganza. So we have a short video to play for you.
So fun.
Today's an amazing weekend. We're celebrating the 2023 Pico Rivera Egg Extravaganza here in Pico Park.
I think it's fun. I grew up here as a kid, so it's fun bringing my own kid. I think he's enjoying it a lot. Yeah, it's been fun so far. And we're gonna do the Easter egg hunt next.
I'm doing the Easter egg hunt with family and friends, you know. It's really fun.
I'm here with my brother and mom to go explore the activities here, the Easter egg hunting, the jumpers, carnival activities, all super fun. I love being here. It is so social and so extravagant. There's just a lot of activities to do, and it's just amazing.
I love the Easter egg extravaganza. I'm gonna find eggs. I love Pico Rivera.
Another great event by Park and Recs. We had about 3,000 to 5,000 people attended. So again, hats off to staff. Also on Park and Recs, we also won some more awards. Is that correct, Director?
Yes, we did. We just won let me back up. We won Best Marketing Campaign for our bus wraps for the state of California in their Cal Act, which is our, it's the Transportation Authority. So we won, and we'll be receiving that award next Tuesday up in Squaw Creek up in California, up north. And then our media team, I need to tell you this because we got another thing right after that. We won 3 first-place awards for Best of the Best in CAPIO, which is the California Association of Public Information Officers. And it's really a big deal. We won Best in our bus wraps. We won Best in our marketing design for our bus wraps, and we won Best in photography. Our own Robert Moreno won first place. Our Rudy Alvarado, our supervisor in media, also just became our Southern California representative for CAPIO, and they are so impressed with him and the team that's in media that they've asked him to be one of the keynote speakers at the conference in a couple of weeks, which is going to be in Monterey, and they want to know how you did it. How do you continue to be back-to-back winners? And I'm like, and Rudy doesn't talk. But Rudy's a really quiet person, so I'm nervous and excited for him. I wish I could be there to watch him do that. But anyway, if you see Rudy around, give him a shout out because him and the team really, they did a Kobe Bryant on this one.
And didn't our staff, Vanessa, also receive a community service award from?
She did. She was a community hero for District 13. So she was awarded about 4 weeks ago as well. She's amazing for the backpack program that she does. And then we also, I think I had already told you last week, we received 2 awards. We received first place in the state for our innovative aquatic programming, which is pretty cool since we don't have a pool, and we won first place for the pool days, for taking them to our neighbors. And then we also won first place for the Roll On Mini Pitch. And we had a booth at the conference, and I'm telling you that people are really envious of Pico Rivera right now. It's a nice place. It's a nice feeling. Thank you, Steve.
Great. Thanks, Pam. On another note, just to give a quick update, Bus Rapid Transit, you all have heard of it. It's something that we have been championing here in the city. Just to kind of let you know, Javier Hernandez has been leading that charge. City of Long Beach has asked us to do a presentation before them. In fact, they actually asked us to even do their staff report. So it just goes to show you, they have their own transportation department. We're again leading the charge on all our efforts. So again, thanks again for Director Hernandez on leading that effort. On another note, we did have our booth at the Easter Extravaganza, and we had a lot of participation. I'll turn it over to you, Javier, to kind of talk about what we're doing out there and with the surveys and et cetera.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that. Honorable Mayor, members of the council, as you're well aware, the Historic Whittier Boulevard program is well underway. We kicked off the Community Outreach and Engagement Program a couple weeks ago with a series of town hall meetings Unfortunately, they weren't very well attended, largely because it was raining, pouring. But interestingly, we did record every single one of them and have been broadcasting them on our public channel, and we've been getting a lot of really good response from that. We've also posted it on our YouTube channel, where the views are indeed up, so that's pretty good. We've been following up those town halls with what we're going to be doing moving forward for the next several months, and that's community canopy pop-ups. So we're going to participate at as many community events as we possibly can. And if you were out at the farmers market this past Wednesday or at the egg extravaganza, you'll see a very brightly colored historic Whittier Boulevard canopy and full package setup. The overall intent behind that is to really create something that's captivating, that's attractive, and entices people to come in and engage with us in a conversation about what historic Whittier Boulevard could be in Pico Rivera. Very exciting. I got to say that we've been collecting so far we have about 150 surveys that we've collected so far. We'll be producing a report and publishing it on the website in the next month. So a lot of really good feedback. We've also been hearing directly from a lot of significant stakeholders who carry a degree of influence within our community and who also have expressed quite a bit of excitement and just this appetite to participate in the effort on an ongoing basis. And then lastly, I'll just share that we are at the early stages of our partnership with the school district in establishing what is called the Youth Ambassador Program. That's a program where we're recruiting high school students to participate in our program with Historic Whittier Boulevard. And the overall idea behind that is to provide them with guidance and support and hopefully guide them on a career pathway for public administration, public policy, urban planning, transportation, all centered around Historic Whittier Boulevard. And so we'll soon have that program fully operating in the next couple of weeks. So it's something to look forward to as well. And with that, I conclude my update unless there's any other questions.
Thank you. Lastly, I just want to mention tomorrow, Corine, we have an event for our employees, employee appreciation. We have an In-N-Out burger for our employees coming to Smith Park between 11 and 1. So again, if you have time, please stop by. That concludes my reports.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager. We'll definitely be there at that Employee Appreciation Day. You mentioned there's an In-N-Out truck? Okay.
Animal style, right?
Great. And that takes us to the good of the order. That's intergovernmental agency meetings, AB 1234 reports, new business and old business. And let's start with Councilmember Garcia.
Thank you, Mayor. Nothing to report on AB 1234. However, I did attend the farewell luncheon for long-time employee Anna Jerome. I just want to give her colleagues and their staff for setting up a really nice decorative room out in the Parks and Rec facility. And Steve, I teed up a good one for you on that public comment, but I'll get that one back.
I know you will.
But also, I had an opportunity to attend the Rancho High School track fundraiser at Shakey's and Taco with the Cop right here at Maracas. And when you go to the event with Taco with the Cop, then you guys are doing a great job. It's an opportunity to ask questions, to get to know law enforcement, but more importantly, you see community building exercises coming together. Dr. Sanchez was there as well in turn. That concludes my report, Mr. Mayor, but I just do want to wish you a happy early birthday.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Councilmember. I'm going to be turning 6. Councilmember Dr. Sanchez.
Thank you. Yes, for AB 1234, I was able to attend the Water Education for Latino Leaders Conference last week with Councilmember Camacho, and there were over 150 participants from across the state. Dolores Huerta was a keynote speaker, and she just turned 93 years old as well, so you're not as old as her, not even half, I think. And it was great. We had people attending, such as Congresswoman Grace Napolitano, council members, other leaders throughout the city to discuss the impacts of water contamination, as well as drought, pending drought, which some people think that the drought is over. However, in several cities, especially in Central Valley and other dry areas and south, we are not out of the drought everywhere in California, and just talking about the importance of conservation and protecting our waters. So that was a great conference. I also attended the dinner with the deputies with Lieutenant. Thank you for coming. And there were several other deputies. That was really well attended, and they had taco specials, so that's a great event. I wanted to highlight a couple of things that are coming up. May 6th, we're going to have a mother-daughter paint night. I don't have any daughters, but I love this idea. It's going to be at the senior center. And so if you want to bring your daughter, granddaughter, please advertise that and bring out the girls for a paint night. And also tomorrow will be the farmer's market every Wednesday from 5 to 9. And I didn't get to go last week, but I'll be there this week. So we'll go have tamales, and there's a ton of food there. So I'm excited about that. I wanted to highlight El Rancho Unified. The high school is going to have every 15 minutes program on Thursday and Friday, where it's a grant-funded program from the state Office of Traffic Safety in partnership with the California Highway Patrol. And they bring they reenact a DUI accident, a crash. And then the next day is an assembly where the students discuss who passed away, and they have an actual skit where they perform this to highlight the importance of not driving under the influence, especially around prom and graduation time. So right on Passants, I think it'll be right in front on Thursday. You may see that vehicle, and so if we get any calls about an accident, it's part of the every 15 minutes program.
Thank you, Councilmember. Mayor Pro Tem Laura.
Yes, in regards to AB 1234, I had the opportunity of attending the Southeast Water Coalition. It was our first meeting in person. And the main topic, well, there was two topics of discussion. One was the PFAS litigation, just giving an update on where that stands. Evidently, so there's a number of court cases that have been filed throughout the country. There's one in Florida that is before a judge. They did the initial arguments, and both sides submitted requests for dismissal or summary judgment, so on and so forth. The judge is going to take a few weeks to render his decision, and then it's either he entertains a summary judgment or a dismissal of the case, or if that doesn't happen, then it goes for a trial, for a jury trial. And everyone's looking at that case because that case may set the precedent on how future cases pan out. The other topic that was of importance, and I've talked to the city manager about this, is the Water Replenishment District and is proposing to increase rates at about 8.9% for the year for their replenishment assessment. And for those at home who don't know what the Water Replenishment District does, is they're responsible for purchasing water and putting it back into the basin so that we can pump it. They're forecasting 190,000 acre feet in sales, whereas the pumpers, and pumpers, us being one of them, along with cities of Whittier, Cerritos, Norwalk, so on and so forth, they're saying, no, wait a minute, historically we're at 220,000 acre feet. We don't agree with your assessment. We either believe that it should be at 0 or maybe 2 to 3% increase. So, for example, the city of Whittier, because their public works director was there, he was saying that the financial impact, and usually these are pass-through charges that go straight to the customer, their impact is about $2 million if WRD enacts an 8.9%. So there's a protest letter that's going around. There's been multiple discussions. In fact, I need to make a phone call to some of the board members and express just how that's just not going to work for us. That's not going to work for our community. they're sitting on about a $99 million general fund surplus. So they can withstand if their forecasting modeling is correct and they run into a deficit for the year, they can withstand that. So that was what was discussed at the meeting. It was very good. But I don't anticipate them raising rates 8.9%. I anticipate either 2% or 0%. We also discussed PFAS litigation. We also discussed that many of us still feel that that WRD has an obligation to help us with operations and maintenance going forward with our PFAS, given that the EPA has dictated or they've set out regulations that basically they want PFAS as undetected. So when you get down to that low of a level, that means you change out that median on a more regular basis, and changing something out incurs a cost. And so that was the one meeting I attended, and just happy birthday tomorrow, Mayor. Yeah, and that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Lara. Councilmember Camacho.
Yes, thank you. I just first wanted to acknowledge Director David Angelo, who's elected official here in the city for Pico Water District. Thank you. And Mr. Sister City. I learned a lot about Sister City through him, and so forth. Welcome. Also, just wanted to, as my colleague mentioned, I too attended the Water Education for Latino Leaders, the AB 1234 report, but since my colleague did such a great job in reporting, I ditto what she said. In addition to that, I just wanted to also thank the carpenters that came here to speak about, this fraud awareness. I think it's important to recognize that. But also, I'm glad that they came also and seen some teens here that was with us, because one thing that we've been talking about here in the city is about improving workforce development and making sure that we bring awareness to a lot of the students and residents of the city of Pico Rivera that if college is not your route, then there are many opportunities through the trades that we just got to all do a good job and be the ambassadors of creating awareness to the workforce opportunities out there available to them, whether it be the carpenters or other trades out there. So thank you for being here. In addition to that, I did attend 2 events through the California Contract Cities Association. One, and the mayor was there as well. It was hosted by ALADS, our deputies union, as well as Sheriff Luna was there, and it was a pretty intimate conversation as to the issues related to public safety and what's to come as it relates to whether it be overtime with deputies, whether it be creating new academies, additional academies to bring in the workforce, the challenges that we face, the rates and all the activities. So it was a great opportunity for us to engage, and it was all for elected officials through contract cities. In addition to that, they had an advocacy day last Thursday that basically, it's an annual event that brings the Board of Supervisors to come and present to us. Supervisor Berger, Hilda Solis, and Supervisor Horvath was there. Sheriff Luna presented, and our new fire chief that has just been on the job for a few months that was also talking about the many challenges that exist within the fire department. I did have an opportunity to do a sidebar with him about Fire Station 103 and how do we, work with that to expand that particular facility, which is an important one not only to our city but the entire county. And so the district attorney was there as well. So it was a well-attended and great information to continue understanding the challenge that we face through our city services. Also, I wanted to just add, as I said, on the vector control, I guess I would become now the anti-mosquito advocate, but very important because as we've had all these great rains, you have a lot of standing water in your homes, and they say that we're going to have one of the worst mosquito invasions, if you will. So just keep that in mind as we go out there and get rid of all that standing water. And lastly, I just wanted to give a warm welcome to our new Parks Commissioner, Kimberly Garcia. I think she's someone that has grown up here in the city, lived here all her life, has been engaged in many of the programmings here through the city, and as a youth, participated in high school, had many leadership roles, and has become very active in the community
in so many different ways that has been supportive of the efforts that the city brings forth and so forth. So I'm just glad to welcome you as our new Parks Commissioner. And I know you're going to do well and represent our city well and do more work together as a team. And welcome, Kimberly. Yeah. And that concludes my comments. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Council Member. Well, I hope everyone enjoyed the Easter holiday, and I attended with a couple of my colleagues extravaganza over the weekend, and I hope if you had an opportunity to go, you got some of those candies. It was a great event, as always. You had the petting zoo, which is probably my favorite. I get to see animals that I've never seen ever in my life. And of course, then you have the arts and crafts and the Easter egg hunt, and I think you had the bunny run. Was that correct? Director Ugar, a bunny run. That was the first time I saw that. I also attended the LA County Advocacy Day along with my colleague Camacho and the ALADs, where they went over just law enforcement plans for the future. And in that LA County Advocacy Day, we got to meet and hear the fire chief and his plans for the upcoming years. Fire Chief Maroney, and then we also got to hear from our District Attorney Gascon, our Sheriff Luna, and our supervisors Horvath, Solis, and our Barger. So they really gave us insight on what to expect in the upcoming years in LA County and how we can work collaboratively as partner cities within the LA County area. I also want to mention to the community that tomorrow we do have the State of the City address, and we're going to have that in the Senior Center. Is that correct, Mr. City Manager? 11 o'clock. So we're also going to have that broadcast?
Not sure. I'll get back to you on that.
Possibly for a later date for viewership, but for those who want to attend, 11 o'clock, Senior Center. Also, I finally want to say, tomorrow's my birthday, and I just am extremely appreciative to be amongst my colleagues here to run the city. And I really do see our goals are getting accomplished, and we're doing it all for all our residents. And that we're really all here just for our residents. And I'm so proud and very, very happy to celebrate another year of life living in the city of Pico Rivera. So again, thankful for all my friendship that I have with my colleagues, and let's continue the good work for the good residents of Pico Rivera. And with that, if we can have our City Attorney, Norma Copado, take us into our next session.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. We have two items in closed session. Item A, a conference with real property negotiators as further outlined in the agenda, as well as item B, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, also as outlined in the agenda. It's appropriate to convene to closed session.
Thank you.